Well, good evening. Apparently, my webcam's not working. Let's see if we can wake that up. Right, I'm just going to land myself quickly because we need to get into party. But then while I'm doing that, then I will be back to check my webcam. But hopefully my mic is working. So good evening, everybody. As advertised, let's see if we can wake that up. We will not necessarily be doing Tuesday night mining this evening because we have just a few days until the Daymar Rally, which I have entered, and I could do with getting a little bit of hover bike practice before we do that. So yeah, we're going to be heading to Daymar. We'll be getting out some hover bikes, and we're going to be trying to at least complete the first stage, maybe to eager flaps, hopefully without too many explosions. Right. Microphone works, but camera is not, so I guess this is my
I just assumed that's what you look like. You just look like the floor of a space station.
Fortunately not. Let's try turning it off and back on again. There we go. That worked. Fantastic. See, when everybody says that irony of IT problems being solved by turning things back off and on again, they're only half joking.
Mm.
Yeah, stream is frozen though.
Stream is froze.
No, is it?
Hasn't, as far as I know.
Maybe just here.
Oh, thank you very much, Skylancer. Subs. We have subs now. We still don't have alerts because I am a very bad... I don't know if I'd go as far as to say I'm a very bad streamer, but I'm a very bad stream technician. So,
do you have Amazon Prime?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Because I think you should have... I mean, if you're using Streamlabs, you should have a thing that will just set them up automatically for you.
Yes, I mean, there are lots of things which will set things up automatically for me, Sly, but they require setting them up in the first place. You have to set up the things which set up things automatically. It's part of the catch. So yeah. So this evening I have Sly Mako and Siler with me because Daymar Rally is not a solo sport; it's a team game. So we need to get more practice in, basically. And we are going to probably... I'm going to see if I've got either my Carrack or my A90 jump at the ready here. So that... have a med respawn, because I've just got a slight feeling that I, in particular, am going to need some form of medical intervention at some point during this evening. We can just deliver our 890 jump. We can go in luxury. Right, I'm just going to get back out to menus and form a party and get this launched so that we get onto the same server. Oh, here. Just check.
You know, if one more person subs, you'll get a hype train going.
Oh, very nice. I don't know what one of those is, but you know. I'll learn, I guess. Evening, Sonic. How you doing, mate? Right, let's get Sly and Siler. Invites to party. Everybody's in menus already.
If you don't have your Carrack at Seraphim, I might.
No, don't worry, I've got my A90 jump.
Okay. Riding in style.
Ah, thank you very much, Clone. Choo-choo, apparently. Let's see what that does.
I think people that partake in it just get like some extra wow.
Well, that just happened.
Wow. Wow, Sky.
Thank you very much, Skylancer.
Cheers, guy.
Wow. We will be, these will be some self-funding. We'll go give away some armors. I figured, why not give away some aerial armors. Classic Loud Guns uniform. This evening to celebrate. I'm just very glad that, yeah, I managed to complete one of my New Year's resolutions before January ended.
Nice.
So, that in itself is amazing, but my other one is to get totally shredded like Wormskull. And I think that's possibly going to take a lot more time. If it ever happens.
That, like, exercises your core for you and just leave it on when you're in bed.
I can't help but think that if those things weren't a scam, that there would be a lot more ripped people walking around, like, you know, without CrossFit memberships. But yeah, that doesn't seem to be the case. Right, I'm thinking we should probably take some spare sets of armor. That would probably be for the best.
Probably a good idea.
Daymar's fairly temperate, but a bit of armor never hurts, so I'm going to just go and buy a bunch of yellow hazard sets. Hopefully I can just buy those straight into the 890 now it's claimed. Yeah. Well, maybe I'll just buy Novikov exploration suits, because then, you know, it's an all-in-one deal.
They also double as bubble wrapping when we eventually fall off the bikes.
Hopefully those bought. I'm not entirely certain they did. I would say maybe I need to bring crews and stuff, but I once again got the feeling that it's not going to be that long a trip. We'll take some crews, just in case.
We're probably unlikely to live long enough to need
46 bottles of crews, but you know, we'll take it just in case. Right. As per usual with this though, even though we're not mining, we are of course talking all things starters, and we keep that element of the stream going, so if anybody does have a burning topic of discussion that they would like to bring up, then I will happily wax lyrical on the subject for a while. Silas managed to... You managed to dodge, Silas. Amazing. Except you didn't. Oh, and thank you very much, Sniggy, gifting out a bunch of tier 1 subs. Once again, I'm going to have to go and watch some form of video to inform me what all of this means. But I promise I will go away and make that my bedtime reading. / watching. Because, you know, why read when you can watch? You fix Seraphim as well?
Well, we're
just heading over now.
I'm still not in your server.
Oh, how did you...
Not get pulled.
Didn't get pulled in?
Nope.
That was weird.
That's been happening lately.
I didn't realise you jumped back in, to be honest with you.
I just put on the stream, so I joined after.
I mean, I have your stream up. I think I just blanked for a minute and didn't see you log back to menus.
I did, but it didn't work clearly. Well, let's see. Speaking of things which don't work, let's see if the 890 jump has fixed some of its docking issues. So yeah. Bedtime reading. Bedtime reading, Rav, was a thing which it existed before mobile phones. Allowed us to turn all bedtime reading into bedtime watching. Although I've slowly been going back to actually reading physical books because I find they make me tired. So, there is that, but 90% of YouTube, to be fair, is basically just people reading stuff to other people because those people who are watching don't want to read it themselves. It's a very successful YouTube strategy. Find stuff that you can just read regularly. And read it out to those people who don't want to read stuff. It is a working docking port. Oh, it nearly sucked me back in and undid that, but I am just as amazed as you are, Rhino. Because every time I have needed an 890 jump to detach from a docking thing, it has failed me. Oh, good.
Same for the hammerheads currently. It's like wintered out.
We did get a bunch of those suits. Let's take our sustenance with us as well, just in case. I'm saving that bottle of whiskey for if Myth ever turns up and wants it, or if you know, maybe when we finish the Daymar Rally, we'll drink that virtual bottle of whiskey. And I'll see if I've got some of the real stuff lying around my house. I mean, I live in Scotland, so it would be quite sacrilegious if I don't have some form of bottle of whiskey. Arethusa would probably disown me. Found out that I don't have any at all. Let's see. That's not going to let us travel. Sometimes around Crusader, it looks like the line takes you straight through the planet, but you can just skirt the clouds, can't you? Bootsy there. Housey. The thought of reading a book makes me tired. Yeah, that's pretty much it, isn't it? You just sort of pick the thing up, and then you're instantly just 2 times sleepier than you were before. But yeah, audiobooks are a really good one as well. Initially, I wasn't quite sure about the whole idea of audiobooks, but then it's like, I just use them for times when I can't read a physical book, like when I'm walking somewhere or going to the gym, that sort of thing. That's good audiobook time. But yeah. Right, so the Daymar Rally, I believe, starts from Shubin SCD1 and heads to Eager Flats as a first
Sounds
course.
accurate.
I mean, it's a 50-50 chance, because it starts at a mining outpost, and there are 2 on Daymar.
That seems like a solid investment as to logic there.
Ah, yeah, Jock. Yeah, walking the dog. That is very good audiobook time. 'Cause I don't know about anybody else's dog, but my dog Krug gets annoyed if I talk on the phone while I'm walking him. It's like he recognizes what I'm up to and that he's not the center of my attention, and then that gets him angry. And then he will actually sometimes stop walking as like a protest.
And you're breaking the deal.
He's a good boy.
Exactly. Yeah.
Terrible.
Right, sorry, I'm just quickly going to take a look at the Daymar Rally site, where they have this SID, and it is, yeah, Shubin, which is the starting line. Cool, so let's set a course down to Shubin SCD1, I believe it is called. All this set up, and then I'm probably gonna crash inside of a couple of minutes. So we were weighing up whether we do a stream of the Daymar Rally on Saturday. Like I said, because we're a 3-person team. Well, 4 if Ghost Dog gets back to us. And when we get to each go, but if you die, you're out. So I said if we're going to stream it, then I'm going to have to go 3rd, because otherwise it could be an incredibly short stream as I start from the line, blow up, and then the rest of the stream is me living vicariously through Sly and Noise Maze.
I mean, I'm happy to go first. Die early, let Noise Maze take over, and you can follow him for the rest of the way.
think my problem, because I started, so last year, myself and Driz and Mr. K were in the truck class. We took the little Ursa rover that could.
Yeah.
Ursula, my green Ursa rover that I still have. One of the only ships I own that has a name. But yeah, I did the start line there, and it was amazing. It was really cool to see, because you start from like the pads.
Yeah.
But my frames dropped to like.
Just a heads up, there are other players here.
Yeah, right. That's okay. Who we got?
I do not know.
We got an Avenger Titan. I think it's okay.
Right.
Probably quite a busy little spot. Oh, hey yeah. Got a raid from Yum Yums. How you doing, mate? What's the bet Griefernet show up on Saturday? I mean, part of the Daymar Rally, which makes it really cool, is that it is, you know, accepted that it's like hostile terrain. You know, I don't know that you can even call people who go and like quote unquote grief the Daymar Rally griefers, because it's like it's part of it, right? It's like they have the full security set up, and people try and bomb it every year.
Yeah, you're also like, as a racer, allowed to kill other racers, so
you can, yeah. That didn't tend to happen that much in my experience. Got shot at a couple of times, but it was when we got into, because that was a 10-hour stream to get round in the trucks. Like we made it, we crossed the line. But it's when you're like 9 and a bit hours in, and you very, very clearly not won.
yeah.
like we were just trying to finish. We were just like, let's just make it to the line. And then we get into some sort of like, you know, there's somebody who was just behind us, and clearly they'd had like not a great time. I think they were maybe one of the more competitive teams.
Right.
But they'd had a terrible time and blown up and had been allowed a restart and stuff. And they were coming up behind us and they started shooting at me, and I just remember Driz just being like, just pull over and let him go. And I was like, yeah, absolutely. Like, absolutely, he can go. That is not a problem. Yeah, that was a long run. Absolutely, Silas. I slept for a good 14 hours after that race. That was... I went straight to bed, and then...
He did give him a shout
out. I think I did give it. It was the Yum Yums turned up with a raid. I think I did that. Maybe it's just because I've got a bit of a delay on the stream.
Or is it that you've got to go like, yo, it's your boy Daddy Yum Yum?
I do not do that. I'm very sorry. But yeah. I'm sorry. I'm just not that level of excited about anything. I get excited about things, but I just not in that way. Yeah, Fed, we are trying out hover bikes. So we're gonna give it a go, doing some Daymar Rally practice. Are you guys entering teams for the Daymar Rally? I assume Fed will be one of the people at the very front of the Daymar Rally.
So last year our team didn't actually finish.
I mean, I'd be amazed if this year our team finishes. It's, you know.
Like, I think Drac lost concentration and crashed the support ship, so we had no replacement bikes.
I did hear about that one. Wow, the frames got a little bit
bad, but you know, like, things happen. I wasn't too fussed about it.
You got 5 teams in, but you're on a team on the waiting list. Yeah, Rhino, the hover quad is the best of the hover bikes, but it is unfortunately banned. It's not permitted in the Daymar Rally this year. So, I think partly because it's a bit of the the speed at the max ride height is so much higher than all the other bikes. So if you want to be fairly safe, you can take a hover quad and you can go max ride height and play it like that. So I don't know if maybe that factored into their thinking, but yeah, hover quads disallowed. One thing we were noticing, well, I say we, Tint was noting, that was quite interesting is the sort of the hover bikes have about 2.5 servers worth of people, as do the trucks. But like cyclones have 5 or 6 servers worth of people. So definitely the cyclones are the most popular for this slot. Morning, Ben. On a morning break. What part of the world does that put you in then? Where's morning now? Like we hear that far east,
West
Australia,
Coast USA or Australia, New Zealand, maybe.
That must be very early morning. Right, I am getting myself set on the med bed of the A90 if you guys want to do the same.
Yeah.
And it looks like the thing is incredibly buggy. The panel next to the bed, so looks like you have to lie down in it.
Yeah.
Right. New Zealand. And I'm sorry as well, that is causing some sort of weird audio bug that I'm hoping goes away when I get a bit further away from it. Ah, no worries, Mr. Ludwig. See, we've got somebody stopping in for a morning break, and we've got somebody who has to go to bed because it's getting too late. So, I love the global community. It's the whole like good morning, good afternoon, good evening you have to say as you get into a room. Good, right. I wonder if that's my swimming pool making all those noises.
I didn't realise it was Sky.
Ooh.
And I need you to pull on Nox for me, loud.
Yeah, that's no worries.
Or something else.
We've got plenty of dragonflies, plenty of Noxes. I would quite like to give both of them a go, to be fair. I get the feeling the Nox has like the fastest speed when you're down as low as you can go.
Yeah.
But like, I'm just not very convinced that you're going to be spending very much time down as low as you can go.
I thought,
from what I remember of this race, it is incredibly bumpy terrain.
Yeah, I thought the Nox was slightly faster in both.
The Nox is faster than the Dragonfly at max ride height, but like once you get to max ride height, there's about 2 meters per second in it. It's like 62 versus 64, and yeah, that makes me Then you've got to factor in that the Dragonfly has the what do you call it? Sort of, it's got other bits of frame around it, right?
Yeah,
bits that you can hit against the floor before you go kaboom.
Mm.
And yeah, Fed, who is a hover bike expert, is also pointing out that the Nox has lower acceleration. Which would you recommend, Fed? You are, after all, a hover bike expert. Oh, and yeah, Silas, unfortunately, it doesn't seem to be pushing through to the stream, but I can see all the YouTube chat. So,
I hadn't considered acceleration as a factor, actually.
No, I mean, it's almost like we're not actually racers, isn't it?
What?
Not actually racers. It's the Tuesday before the race on the Saturday, and we're thinking we better give it a practice just so we can confidently say.
Hey, at least we tried.
Right, yeah, Fed says dragonflies. I'm gonna give a dragonfly a go. Well, they're under Drake.
Alright.
This is a moral lesson to you all, by the way, not to buy yourself 50 Grey Cat SDVs if you want to get down your list ground vehicles and any speed whatsoever.
Have a look at this Meko. He's trying to blow up his ship.
Your vehicle has been delivered to the following.
The X1.
I'll be honest.
I wonder about the X1, but unfortunately, I don't own one.
Please visit us again.
I feel like whatever this guy is trying to do, it's not gonna work.
Mm-hmm. I'm stealing this one.
Right, you go take that one, Silo.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to the ASOP vehicle retrieval system.
And it would probably help if we knew what we were doing. Yeah. If we knew which way we were going. So I think while my right, if I fly somewhere and then I backspace, what sort of range is there still a range on like medbed respawns? There used to be.
Is that a thing?
It hit a little while ago, but
I'd never heard of that before, but fair.
I don't really want to do it and then end up back at
Please visit us again. Goodbye.
oh, would you be able to fly that like a way away?
Welcome
Oh yeah, sorry.
to the ASOP vehicle retrieval
It's still
system.
giving me the option to store it from underneath
I
you, so
will just tell me when I can turn back.
yeah, I think that's cool. Just claim it again.
Your insurance
Oh,
claim
6
has
seconds.
been sent. Your vehicle has been moved to our storage facility.
Ah, I tell you what, I'm just gonna take the Pisces and I'm gonna get it over to Eager Flats. And
Your
then I'll
890
risk
is being
space.
shot by a Cutlass Black.
Oh, well then, that is a double reason to pull out a Pisces. Although, if you happen to have a ship that would pew that Cutlass Black, that would be good.
Yeah, I can take it.
Vehicle select. Your vehicle has been delivered to the following. Please visit.
Where are you doing it, Meko?
I could go and pew that Cutlass Black, yeah.
Can you do it faster than me?
Yeah, I think I think I'm leaning down that way too. You know, Daymar Rally is a marathon, not a sprint. There's no point purely going fast for not very long amounts of time. I think the sustainability of the Dragonfly is more where I'm leaning. But we shall see. The other thing as well is like you can bring spare bikes, but if the driver dies, then you lose that driver.
Yeah.
So right, cool. Somebody else is in the 890, it won't be a problem, so I will make sure one of the crew are in the 890 when I need to backspace to it. So I'm gonna go and leave my I'll leave my gear here, why not?
Just turn the game volume down
Just
a little
gonna
bit.
go and
This
do a-
volume is excessive.
I'm just gonna go and do a recce to Eager Flats and at least get us a bearing that we can work off.
Yep. Makes
I-
sense.
Yeah, I don't actually have an X1 Captain Carrot. I should probably buy one. I used to have a huge pool of store credit from where I made some questionable decisions around around the purchase of an Orion and unwound it. But then I slowly used that store credit. And I put a lot of it into a prize for this year's birthday. So now I probably have to think about actually popping some more money into the game and building myself up a little pool to grab some of the new ships as they come out. You race the Daymar Rally in an Ursa. Yes. Truck class survivors unite. The truck class is an ordeal. It is an ordeal, and I think it's even worse this year. So after some of the ground vehicle changes. Oh, hey, Yelling. How you doing, mate? I would say your full name, but my wife might actually get annoyed at me. Might overhear and think. Oh, very definitely she might overhear. It's not like she's watching my Star Citizen stream. She loves me, but she doesn't love me that much. Got third place. I finished. That is my... That's... I'll leave it there. I was in the also ran category, but I managed to stay out of the DNF category, so... Yeah, Rav, it'll be a self-fulfilling prophecy, to be fair.
Dragonfly.
Oh, thank you very much for the sub, Flint. Muchly appreciated. Ah, Sniggy gifted yelling a sub. Yeah, Sniggy, thank you very much for getting on the gifting along with Skylancer. Like I said to people who were here earlier, I will learn what all of these terms mean at my soonest convenience. Are we allowed to use tractor beams? Is that in the rules? Oh, why are there bounties everywhere? Let's see. We'll be able to take a cutlass steel in a Pisces.
If it's an AI, yeah.
Yeah, but it might just take ages. Right. Can I make sure one of you is in the 890? Just before I hit the backspace.
Heading over.
Oh,
2
okay.
seconds.
Fortunately, there's no armistice zone around Eager. So I'm just gonna park a little way away. It looks like whichever player who had that bounty is dealing with it. Right, the bearing was 305 for you guys.
305 to us,
So looking directly at you, so
125?
that would 5, yeah.
Right,
We're
sure.
heading on a bearing of 125.
Give me 1 second, I'm just waiting for the lift to come down.
That's cool. Yeah, Yelling, this is officially my first month where you can sub. So it's I managed to do the 7 streams in 30-day challenge that they set you to hit affiliate status, which was, and that is a lot. I've got a lot of respect for people who stream more than I do. Thank you very much, Sly. I will fast travel back to you.
Gotcha.
It's I've got a lot of respect, growing respect for people who do streaming more often. I feel like long term I can do this like once a week.
What the fuck?
That's about where my my ability lies.
I fell through the elevator, so now I'm back outside. I'm not going to question that.
That's cool. Don't worry, it worked. I came back to the thing. We're probably gonna mix up who's doing what, Eric. Yeah, Clone. So we do. I always sorry, Clone's just asking on Twitch. You can read the Twitch chat. That's good. Just asking if we keep a list of ships that people have for things like fleet ops. So we do, but I'm always at great pains to point out that it is in no way, shape, or form, keeping tabs on who's got what, and like when I say what ships you have cash purchased doesn't matter to me, then I really do mean it. But we do keep that list just because it makes it easier to plan things like operations, and we similarly sort of have one for it can be updated with ships which people have bought in game. So Star Destroyer, who does a lot of the techie stuff in the background for our org, has made SC org tools, and we use that for planning ops. And he built a cool little feature for it where once we've got the list of names of people from Discord who have hopped in, if we've got that data, then when you're planning an op, you've got a sort of op planning tool, and when you're doing that, you can click on someone's name and you can actually see sort of what ships they can bring. So that can
it is opt-in though, registering your ship.
yeah, registering your ships is absolutely opt-in. It's and I have to admit I'm very bad at keeping my own up to date, so it's something I'd probably go back to once in a while. But yeah, SCL Tools is the site that we use for keeping track of people who've applied to the org as well, doing all our applications and stuff. And we don't share any of the data. See. Right. Well, these things are quite loud, so we might have to turn the ambient audio down a little bit to maintain my sanity, and probably all of yours. There we go. That seems like a more reasonable amount. Right, have I at least still got my death marker? Because that could help. Now, what did we say the
125.
125. Okay. Really do need to get those glasses. Let me just see, because I definitely had a death marker for my last death, so let me just check that that's marrying up. I left the bike too high to get to. No, it comes back down. Good to know, good to know. Or it bounces back up and down. Interesting, very Star Citizen interactions here.
Ouch.
Yeah, I wouldn't go too close to that thing.
Did it go through the floor? No.
This is classic Star Citizen moments. I might need a new hover bike.
Hilariously, you're both red now.
We commit armistice zone violations.
Probably.
Right, might need a new hover bike. Don't worry about that one. Thankfully, they claim in 6 seconds.
Mm. Bearing was 305. Yeah, bearing back to us was 305, so it's 180 off that to go the opposite direction.
Yeah, 125, yeah. So,
Do you want to ride?
oh, sorry, I started running, haven't I?
Or you can run.
Yeah, I'll run. It's a little bunny hop. Yeah, so the bearing back to them was 305, so yeah, 180 off that, 225.
125.
125 should get us there. Hope if I did math. Yeah, Jock, any speculation on if we'll have a patch by the end of the week? I wouldn't be surprised by it. Yeah, they've seemed to edge towards sort of what, Thursday, Friday nights as their patch day, patch ahead of the weekend.
I love it.
And this
release the patch on the weekend
and this PTU, yeah, this PTU patch. I mean, that said, there are definitely some blockers. So from what I was reading earlier, there are still some big problems. Like they clearly want to do Siege of Orison as part of this, and apparently there's some quite big blockers with Siege. So maybe they'll give it another week in the oven. I mean, to be fair, it is a it's kind of an optional one, right? Because like it's not like they've got a big sale or anything coming up. I suppose there's the Lunar New Year, isn't there? Because yeah, these things do unfortunately factor into it. Like you can tell, like Clockwork, for example, that CIG are always going to patch to get Invictus or to get IAE out. So yeah. Oh, King, thank you very much for the sub. Need to keep an eye on this out of the corner of my eye. This is the next level of things I have to learn to do. read the chat and also keep an eye on that. This is why I need alerts as much as anything. Thinking. How am I feeling about the stronger turrets? I really like the idea of stronger turrets. Like, because I do think turrets are a little bit anemic at the moment.
You're talking about like ship turrets?
No, they're buffing like turrets at ground locations and stuff, and like ground space stations. So yeah, I think that's definitely gonna be good. But the problem is it does rely on servers. Right, 125. Okay, should we see how long we last? Let's go.
Right.
Would help if I turn my headlights on, I think.
Oh yeah. We could probably do that a little bit. Right, instant canyon. I think the tortoise approach is somewhat for the best. And if anybody who is really good at hover bikes wants to give me any tips, I would really appreciate them. Instantly into a rock though, because I took my eye off the ball. Yeah, Tatsy. I think there was an element of like people haven't been doing too much of the VHRT ERT hauls recently. Need to watch each other. Haven't been doing too much of it because like we all made a bunch of money, right? And then all of a sudden it's like, they're taking it away. Better just go and buff my bank account up a little bit now that free money isn't going to be a thing. Don't drive into rocks or your friends. That is exactly the key. I also think you need to try and moderate the size of your jumps, right?
Yeah.
No, the Dragonfly feels quite manageable, though, I think. He says. Instantly throwing himself into a massive jump. Oh, take a multi-tool with repair mats.
Actual pit stops, yes.
Not the size of the jumps, but the landing area. Is that because of trying to accelerate back up to full speed, Fed?
I guess potentially like rocks.
Right, and do I just try and go straight up this hill? Yes, I think so. Hey, Tin. Oh dear, Tint's here. Tint's turned up to judge us.
Oh god. So here's a neat trick.
As you can see, we are practicing.
So if you're in the middle of a jump, you can lower your ride height to increase your speed.
But then you need to just make sure you put it back, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely feels a lot quicker down at lower ride heights.
Yeah.
But yeah. Also, that tends to be where explosions happen, right?
Yeah.
And don't forget, it's got a decent bit of boost, so if you need to just boost out to avoid a ravine drop. Other bikes are fucked. They feel great. They feel great. It's okay.
Ah, that's a wall. That's a wall.
Oh, side is blown up.
Rip.
Oh, right. Okay. Can't just pull up that hill. Yeah, have to boost around.
Siler, I don't know if you have any hover quads, but in my MSR there are a bunch of Noxes.
Oh, cool.
Is there any chance you could fly over us and make sure we're actually going the right way, Sly?
Yeah, sure.
I can see... I see a light in the distance, and I'm worried that I've just turned around.
There's a star lifter about 10 kilometers in front of me.
I can see another light sort of making its way over the hills, and I get the feeling that maybe somebody else is out here doing Daymar Rally practice. And that also maybe fills me with hope, because maybe if they're doing Daymar Rally practice, I can follow them. Which
Yep.
is, to be fair, going to probably be my main strat for the actual race.
It is the eager flats,
sense.
right?
Well, something blew off my ship. Oh. There we go. There we go.
You gone?
Did anybody check how long it lasted? It was longer than I expected. I'm not going to lie.
I'm still going strong on my knocks, just saying.
Wow.
I don't know how far ahead of you two I was, but I think there were a few thousand meters in it.
Yeah, to be fair, I'm not quite sure what I clipped that I lost the left nacelle.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it definitely gave me, yeah, Jock's right. I think there were about 3 head-on rock hits. Right, yeah, let's see. Let's see the distance death marker from Shubin. How far did I make it on my first run? Am I going to be let out of the med bay? That's the next question. This is a little bit worrying. Siler, is there any chance you could come to the other side of the... No, Doro. It was just a bit of a lag.
Alright.
Well, Jock, things can only get better. Well, they can probably get a lot worse, to be fair. I'm going to choose to believe they're going to get better.
Any chance you could put those spare suits in an open locker?
Where would I have one of those? Or the 890. I can definitely drop some in a pile. Next to the elevator.
That works.
Someone do some quick maths for me. It was 50 kilometers to Eager Flats, wasn't it?
I'm not sure. Where's my death marker though? That's... I think it was more like 80.
80, okay. Well, I'm only like a quarter of the way there then.
$92 kilometers.
92.
You've so far made it 25.5.
Yeah. In how many minutes?
Oh, we're not at the level where we're timing things, Sly.
Hey, I'm quietly hopeful. I'm sort of hoping that on the day, you know that Australian guy who got like Australia's first ever gold in the ice skiing, the Olympics.
I like the level. I like the level that you're looking at this. You're like, I'm going to do the Daymar Rally with exactly 1 evening of practice, and I'm gonna win.
Yeah, I'm hoping that every other team crashes at the start.
To be fair, I think the Daymar Rally person who goes down in history for me is definitely that guy who ran the rest of the race.
Jesus Christ!
Like, forget all the winners from various years. The guy who finished on foot as a runner. Tint will apparently keep quiet on competitive pace. It's more a competition with ourselves, Tint. That's the way I'm looking at this. Right, let's
What bike do you recommend, out of curiosity?
go give the Nox a go, because I've got a Nox queue, so let's take it out. Right. Jock's got a proper stopwatch and is going to apparently take it out this time. And give me a test. Right, we will give a Nox a go. Yeah, exactly, Tint. We won't look too far into the fact that last year I was in a truck, and therefore 7 hours is the time to beat. But to be fair, that does also give me the added pressure of last year I finished. So that could be a double-edged sword using last year's performance as a benchmark. Right, let's see. So Sly thinks it's this way, and he is currently staying on the heading that we worked out earlier. The
Well,
Nox,
roughly. I've definitely turned a few times. I don't know how far off course I've gone.
the Nox definitely feels speedier. But yeah, let's see.
I thought I just died there, but no, I'm alive.
This first sort of bit of sand dunes, I'm wondering if we like hang a bit to the right. If it'll be a bit more forgiving. Giant jump. 7 hours. 7 hours, but that was in an Ursa. Nav, so.
Could somebody in chat just work out what the circumference of a 90-kilometer circle is, please? Because I want to know how many miles we end up off course if we're off by like 5 degrees.
Quite a few, probably. I think the most important thing we're doing, like the thing with the rally is that like navigation isn't actually that big a deal because you have markers.
Yeah, true.
You have like party markers, and also like try as we might, we probably, based on current performance, aren't going to be in the lead.
No.
Okay, so I've probably travelled a couple of kilometres and my death marker is 10 kilometres away now, so I'm going to say on my first attempt I got about 12. I'm going to be kind to myself, I'm going to say I got 13. It was unlucky kilometre 13 which got me. Yeah, Ursas are still pretty speedy, but unlike hover bikes, they do have a tendency to, like, you know, even fairly small, like, looking rock fields can be absolutely insane terrain to try and cover in them. So, like,
it's just any ground vehicle.
I mean, the distance between like the start and Eager Flats might be 80 something kilometers, but when you have to navigate around all these rocks, and like some parts of the course are just jagged, horrendous rock fields. Like I think that was probably the most draining part of the race.
So then, what was the winning time for the trucks?
I would have to go and look it up. I know that we thought that the Ursas would be quicker, but actually the Spartans were decidedly quicker last year. Like you just,
yeah, that's a marker for you.
Yeah, thank you.
You just sort of watch them burn away at the start, and they were.
Yeah, fair.
6 hours was the winning time. And I apparently did it in 7 and something. I think it might have been longer, because the stream that we did from last year came up for me, and yeah, it was a 10-hour stream. We definitely started a bit before the. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sort of liking the Nox more, Mako.
I mean, so I'm really messing around with my ride height, like basically constantly adjusting to try and get some better speeds, but
I'm just cruising at a constant ride height because I'm lazy.
Fair enough. But at the moment, I'm kind of stuck in a canyon with no.
Let's see if we make it further. It is quite a lot better having a marker to move towards. I'm hoping I'm meant to be moving towards Siler.
I mean, so what I was asking was Siler started shooting, and I was wondering if that's what she was saying was the direction I was supposed to be going. And
you were pretty close to being on course, so.
Oh, good.
There's a lot of derelicts along this path, though. There's been people here before.
Yeah, I mean, I'm probably still one of them. So yeah, 510 kilometers. About the total distance.
Yeah, it's a long old race. Like, you know, a lot of people don't finish. What is it, like 200 teams this time?
Well, yeah, probably something like that, because I know it's, what, about 8-9 servers?
Yeah.
Maybe order a 32 SCU box of gasping weevil eggs. Don't know, depends how lucky I'm feeling. Hey Joe, how you doing, mate? Oh yeah. Yeah, it's an absolutely massive race, Nafty. But, you know, it's highly picturesque. He says, hoping that there wasn't a giant big rock in front of him when he did that little stream. Little camera pan. Make sure I've diverted a little bit off course there.
So this is not as rocky as I remembered it being. I mean, it's still very rocky, but there's a lot of spaces where you can get some quite decent low ride heights.
Yeah, I think part of it is also learning which are the... Well, apparently you can, but I managed to cock up one of the landings there.
Did you crash?
That is hoverbike number 2 down.
I
feel I made it more kilometers that time though. I passed my earlier record of 13 kilometers.
Nice.
So we're good.
Just out of
Oh, you
curiosity,
can pop in noise and show us how it's done by all means.
Are you using your boost to get out of the way of obstacles in the air? Because you can change direction.
Yeah, trying to.
Okay.
I just
you had,
completely messed up a landing. That was just a very bad landing.
What was that, Silas? Sorry, I think 19 kilometers.
No, Loud had 90 kilometers left.
90 kilometers out of how many kilometers?
What's total?
That feels like I didn't get very far. Did I get less
feels like
distance?
You got nowhere. But you got past your body.
I thought so, yeah. But clearly not.
I don't know, chat. What are we saying? Did he get past his body? Is he trying to scam us in chat?
We'll see.
You are 7 kilometers off course, Mako, and you have 26 left to go.
What's my bearing?
You see where I'm
I was
shooting?
off course to the right,
know where you
apparently. So I might have added more kilometers, but not actually got as far. I'm 22 kilometers away, though. The total ride distance was longer. 22, not bad.
I'm gonna give you a bearing, but I need to be at your place to do that.
No, you just look at it and give me a rough bearing.
Let's see.
That's not gonna work.
5 minutes. Survived for 5 minutes and 45 seconds.
100 is your bearing.
100, okay.
There we go. We got all the necessary things. We've got distance measurers and we've got timers in chat.
Nice.
Very good.
Tatsu, so Tatsu's commenting on his A2's ability with I believe the bounty cargo. But I read my A2 and then I thought we were gonna get a real-time simulation of the Daymar Rally. Got Tatsu coming in with an A2 to just add a bit of spice to proceedings. Yeah, to be fair, you gotta train for avoiding those bombs. What do we reckon? Nox or the Nox felt really good.
Oh, yeah, Loud, you want bombs? I got them. You wanna dodge?
Maybe if I make it to Eager Flats. Or we can get some real-time instruction from Tint to show us a nicer route for the first leg. That's good. Then we're gonna have had training from a pro though, and then the expectations on us are going to increase. Currently, I feel expectations are exactly where they need to be.
Yeah.
Non-existent. So, turning up on the day. My bike is saying everything that needs to be said at the moment since it's just on its side. Right. Where did Sila go? They're in that direction. Wow. Somebody just had quite an incredible landing in a Corsair.
Oh.
I feel almost like asking him if he's okay. That was quite the landing. Right. Let's go for this one more time.
One more time.
If you take the distance now, I am at the target.
Right, 15.8, okay.
Yeah, mate, the hover quad is really good, but unfortunately not allowed. I felt like that was going to be my shortest run yet, to be fair.
Did you survive?
I did. I mean, I'd still got a landing to survive, so yeah, we made it. It's okay.
Some very rocky, very jagged terrain on this home stretch.
I don't believe that landing was a stream sniper. It would be hilarious if it was. I think that was somebody who I also appreciated how he like kind of walked the landing off. He was like, "No, didn't happen. Didn't happen. Nobody saw." Right. I don't feel we're gonna make it to that clip. Top of that hill. Right. We've come a completely different way. So let's see. Is this any better?
Oh, that's a rock. Sila, how far did I make it?
That was
You are currently 13 out.
very respectable, Mako. That could have almost been us completing the first leg with a single driver.
Yeah.
So,
But it wasn't to be.
I'm taking a slightly detourous route this time. How far was the... Are you alright to just be at Eager Flat, Siler? That'd be alright.
Oh, okay. We'll go back. That's okay. No bombs. Fine.
Oh no, if you could just mark Eager Flats for me, because that's actually kind of almost the easiest way to know I'm going in the right direction. And then I can also work out my actual like completed distance to
Gambling on it.
I mean, you could definitely do that. I feel like Sly nearly making it all the way to Eager Flats would be a good bet.
What the fuck is this?
Considering the furthest I've made it is 22 kilometers and some of that was in the wrong direction.
I'm very confused about what's going on at the moment. I appear to be on Daymar, but the ground has been lowered by a good 10 meters.
I don't like these landings in rock fields. That's what did me in last time. Right, could try and take a slight detour to the right, I think here. But right, there's no shame in hitting the brakes. That's what I'm learning this time. It's got to survive. Right. Got within 80 kilometers.
New record.
Yeah, I know this isn't a rock field yet. I remember the horrendous jagged rock bit. That was horrendous. Right, let's see. I will do, Tint. I will do. I will surely have a second when the inevitable happens. Is there much sense in sort of almost trying to control my nose and like using my nose to like as I go into these hills?
Yeah. I genuinely don't know what's going on at the moment. I'm kind of like in the planet.
Let's see. Right, 76. Yeah, okay. So you do want to pre-nose these hills.
And it says yes in
That
chat.
makes sense. Yeah. That's good to know. It felt right. Like you would want to try and nose up as you come into a slope so you don't just like go straight into it.
I think the game is showing me the LOD ground screen instead of the actual ground. There we go. Hopefully a death
Alright.
will fix it.
There's my last body passing us on the right. I feel like in terms of actual amount of the course completed, this might be approaching my new record. My old body is a good 4 kilometers away, but I was clearly drifting off quite a lot to the right, as Tint suggested. Right, so this is reminding me how much concentration is required. Mad Teapot is suggesting that maybe, in fact, the quickest way to complete the rally is to go through the planet. So maybe you have just developed the new meta strat, Sly.
Well, it didn't last very long because I couldn't actually see any of the rocks I was ramming into.
Ooh. We're within 70 kilometers, 69 kilometers away.
Nice.
So just need to work out when there's a straight long enough that you can stop and have a little bit of a smoke. Oh, thank you very much for the sub fed as well. Use those moments to go and check over to my right hand screen. 7 minutes. Have officially lived the longest I have so far today, so
Grats.
that's good. That's good. Nox Q. Oh, and it has cruise control. That's good to know. In a race that could potentially take hours. I mean, I think I'm probably one of the only racers who's going to be like using cruise control because that's definitely not sweaty.
Okay, I think I'm gonna have to relog here. This is not flyable.
Is always the danger of the medical respawns. Can have a tendency to blow things up.
Was it the medical respawn that did that?
Yeah, it could be.
Weird.
Let's see where we're going to land. I don't trust those hills like that, to be fair. Yeah, that's
So,
a good
like,
point.
As long as you have somewhere soft to
Definitely
land
stay
at full
on
ride
course.
height, you won't crash.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. That's I think what happened to me earlier. I landed, but I landed almost like bang on a pebble.
Yeah.
I have to say, it's a lot easier with a party marker to move towards.
You do also have to be careful going over those lips, by the way, because you will inadvertently just run into them before the Nux can pick you up over it.
You can
Yeah.
have spotters on the day off, right?
Yeah. So you have a support crew who run with you in a ship, which carries your spare bikes, and obviously spare pilots as well for when the inevitable happens. I was wondering, can I get up one of these? Probably being over capable.
If it was a proper rally, though, you would have a person on the back of your hoverbike reading out the maps in real time to you.
But
When we have
thankfully, it
actual
is
maps-
a computer game. Computer game rallies, where life gets easier. Don't trust some of these rocks. And yeah, there'll be party markers as well for the checkpoints. And what I found last time was, because, you know, I was not at the front, there was quite a string of party markers ahead of me. And a bunch of, I don't know if anybody's been to the hot air balloon festival in Bristol. But, like, it's quite awesome. Oh dear. Ooh, right. Nearly. I think I might have just had my one moment of grace of crashing the Nox without. Yeah. So
I mean,
yeah,
so-
there's a hot air balloon festival once a year in Bristol, and the Daymar Rally, the start of it, kind of reminded me of that because you had all these like, particularly in the truck class that we were in, it was all like C2s and other Hercs, and yeah, it was sort of just like seeing all these Hercs just floating towards the. Oh, I'm not sure about this. Just floating off into the distance because they're all like going at the speed of trucks. So it was quite cool. So it's quite hard to lose your way, to be fair, on race day. But you do have to be hyper aware of the fact that your frames, particularly as the pilot, sort of taking all that in, will probably tank because it is an entire server of people.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. I don't live near Bristol anymore. I used to live down in Devon for a long time. Spent a
So I
lot of
think-
time in Bristol, but now I live in Scotland. I was about to do the accent then, but I realised that my Scottish accent, is offensive, so I won't be doing it. It is very bad for somebody who has lived here for 5-6 years. Skelly would not approve. So yeah.
Fedical asks, do you know the speed of an unlanded swallow?
An unladen swallow.
Yeah.
I used to know the response to that, but alas, I do not anymore.
It depends.
But you have to ask.
European or
It's
African swallow.
yeah, an African or a European swallow, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
I has no idea what we're on about.
oh, righto. Insulting my two places of living. Oh, that's not cool. Not cool, man. I like all the places I've lived. That's why I've lived there. Oh, is the
I like-
snow treated us? Thankfully, where I am, I haven't had any snow yet, which I like because I hate snow. Snow sucks. If you can't ski in it, then snow is lame, basically. It just gets in the way. It's just shit rain that stays around and gets slippy. Somerset, nice part of the world. I appreciate the cider. Yeah, snow has that tendency. It looks like really cool the first day that it comes down. But then it's got that tendency to just turn into ice. And be incredibly deathly. So yeah. And my wife Ali grew up and spent up until her sort of 20s in countries where snow was very common, and sort of she lived in Ukraine and Russia. And then we look like a bit of an odd couple when I am slip sliding everywhere like Bambi on ice. And she is just stalwartly trudging up and down every hill without slipping once. And just like, I'm occasionally sort of reaching over and clinging to her. It's quite embarrassing for me, snow, so I'd rather avoid it. Ah, yes, cider farms and country pubs. They are two things that the Southwest does incredibly well. Well, that and the sea as well. I do miss living near good sea. Scotland also has the North Sea, but I've been surfing a couple of times in the North Sea and I can't shake the feeling that it is actively trying to kill me. Yeah, exactly that, Nafty. you get oh dear, right, that was nearly death. I feel that might have been my second freebie. Took a bit
You
of a
can
bad
survive a few
landing.
knocks.
I took a bit of a poor landing.
Does look like you don't have any guns left.
Well, I don't think I was gonna be at any risk of being deadly with them anyway. What did I do there? Was it because I came in a bit close to the lip? How far did I get, Siler?
39.6.
We couldn't just round that up to 40? Yeah, just for my... 39.6 does round up to 40.
No, that's the distance left. So you want to round it down if
Oh,
you
right.
want to
You
boost
can
your
round
ego.
up if you like.
But yeah, go for it.
Okay, that's cool. Right, so I did. So I had 40 left, so I managed 52 kilometers. And I lasted 15 minutes and 50 seconds. I don't know that it was necessarily anybody cursed me. I think it was probably hitting that bit of ground that probably did it to me. It's probably
that
my own
didn't
fault.
really look like a crash for me, but
It was, I think what happened was I came in, so where there was sort of the lip that I was landing onto, and I boosted onto it to try and make it across, and that way I think I'd sort of managed to boom, because the ride height didn't cushion me. It didn't have
do you
like,
know
the
if
time
I
to
have
cushion
to
me.
reset my spawn now that I've rejoined the server?
Probably, yeah.
No.
Probably sensible. We need to we're going to bring in the experts, Tint, our head of racing, and Noisemaze, our other team member for Saturday.
Hey.
Maybe just do some volume adjustments to make sure we don't smash eardrums. But yeah, feel free if you're watching to let us know if anybody is too quiet, too loud. Well, I'm being dragged outside in my pants, so we better quickly put a... okay. Put at least a suit on.
Your server is quite popular, so I am just now jumping over to Daymar from Seraphim.
Okay, that's cool.
You're just gonna bedlog, I take it.
No, I did get onto the server.
Oh, I see.
It just took a minute.
Now that Tent's on, I will try to join.
There's some there's definitely some activity on the go around our around old Shubin. I think it's just
for the
bounty
month or two
targets.
leading up, I feel like every time I turn up, there's 3 Carracks parked outside and like several dozen fighters just ditched around the outpost. And
yep. It's people practicing more than once before the race. That's what that is. Which I refer to as cheating.
Okay, so it does
cheating, best practices, either
Yeah.
way.
One or the other.
Does still think I'm on the 890 for respawn, but I'm gonna double trigger it anyway, just to make sure.
I'll resist a nice tractor beam while we're out here. Unfortunately, I'm not gonna find any med things, so I'm just gonna have to deal with having 43% health for this one. Yeah, okay, so I will remind people who are here who is who. So we've got Tint, who is Frontier Consolidated's head of racing. We've got Noisemaze, who is one of our racers and probably the most professional member of Frontier Consolidated Blue Team, who will be competing in the Daymar Rally.
Hello.
This Saturday. Then we've got Slymaker, who's clearly mildly more professional than myself, which means that I round out the team as the weakest member, because I have unfortunately not managed to log the farthest distance today. And we've also got Siler helping us out. So,
I mean, I'll have, I at one point held a top 100 time on the Star Citizen leaderboards.
wow.
The
For ship
activity over
racing,
your
though.
head is
Your vehicle
is
has
a
moved to
NPC
your storage
vanguard.
facility.
Right, okay, that's cool. Yeah, I figured it was probably just bounty targets.
Yep.
Cheating. Yeah, Hagbard, cheating. That's what I'm going to call it.
Does seem to have taken an
Unfair
interest in
advantages.
you, so let's finish that off.
This dust storm was
It's alright. It
blinding.
can probably just encourage me. Might need a little bit of mild encouragement. One of my most insulting moments on a hover bike was when I tried to use one to sneak into a jump town and somebody flew behind me in a distortion-laden hurricane. And it was the way that after they'd shut down all my engines on my little hover quad, they then used the hurricane to like nudge me, and because it was on one of the ice planets, my hover quad kept on like just sliding at uncontrolled speed down hills, so... good to know we've got scanners on these as well. That's probably worth knowing. Particularly for the nighttime sections. Alright, let's try and find Siler for our marker. I want to say it's in this
So what I
direction.
actually want you to do is go ahead and get on your start pad, like you're setting off.
Yeah, we got practice actually starting from the pads, haven't we? Don't know about you, I'm finding this dust storm really weird.
It gets worse the closer to the ground you are.
Good to know.
Oh, and can I get a party invite so I can get a marker for you?
Same.
It's good.
I might actually need a re-invite because I don't have markers.
Okay.
I'm just going to have to quickly leave the party in a second.
Good noise maze.
Got it.
Yeah, I agree, Nafty. I love Tint too, and his calming voice as he calmly tells me to do things which I'm barely capable of. Can see somebody is having the problem that I encountered earlier with my dragonfly, where it just randomly bounces and bounces and bounces.
Alrighty, so what we're going to do is when we leave the facility, you're going to push out to the front a little bit, and then you're going to turn right. We're going to be chasing smooth ground here, so we're going to push right about 10-15 kilometers, still on a slightly forward trajectory, but we're going to miss a lot of the worst terrain.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're going to basically from there be able to angle straight for Eager Flats.
Righto. Good to know. Good to know that you have that much faith in me. That we're going to make it 10-15 kilometers, apparently.
Do you want me to set up on the right side of the range again?
No, I think we should be good.
Okay.
This all of a sudden become highly professional, hasn't it?
I mean, I don't have a timer up for you, so
That's good. It's all right. Jock's still on it, I think. Is our official timer.
Alrighty. So yeah, whenever you're ready, pull forward. I'll give you corrections as I spot them.
Right. Okay. So pushing off the pad and then instantly right.
Yep. Pretty much right away.
Like more towards noise maze. That's what a bearing of about 115.
A little bit further right. We want to avoid that big canyon there.
Right.
And cutting across in this direction, you're gonna get some big rocks out of the gate, but there's plenty of room between them.
Plenty of room, he says, confidently.
Hey, the truck fits. Deviate a little more right for me. Stay in the bottom of this canyon for a minute.
Righto. Okay. There we go. I'm a little bit worried about my
And
my
then
coming
this
out
one
these
here,
canyons.
stay on top of this plateau. So again, turn right, just follow the plateau down for a bit. And you'll see ahead there's 2 hills on your left with a cut between them. That's where you're going.
Oh, yeah. Between those hills. Between these hills. Okay, right. So sort of stay on the plateau at the top.
Yeah, the one slightly further to your left.
Where I'm pointing there.
Yes.
So these are the professional tips. People who actually know the course.
Invisible rock, yay.
Yeah, the other thing to get into the habit of is popping into first person occasionally to check for minables. Because remember, contacting a mineable rock is instant death.
Right, this is technically the Tuesday mining stream, so, you know, it would be only fair. Unfortunately.
Right, after this big hill on your left, go ahead and curve around to the left. And start angling pretty much straight for Psy.
Who I've totally lost track of. And I think I just...
She's about 90 degrees to your right.
That's good. I think I definitely have my one freebie just there. I've got some blinking red lights on my knocks, which weren't there before.
Yep, and you got a mineable in front of you, so just keep your eyes open for it.
I'm guessing that's it there. See, I'm a miner at heart. I know what rocks I can crack with a laser. But definitely shouldn't attempt cracking with a Nox.
Okay, we're going to deviate a little further right here. So when you come up to this next set of ravines, just turn right and follow them down that direction.
See, what I should really be doing is... Oh, well, I suppose I technically am recording this, so... I need to then just sort of try and sync it up and play it while I'm doing this on... Right, so follow these ravines to the right.
Yep.
Yeah, this is definitely not the way I would have...
Take this nice and slow. Stay at max height.
Oh, I'm always at max height, Tim.
That is a good impulse. There's no reason to get fancy. All right, and then up ahead here, your wall gets a little lower, so you can go ahead and cut across into the next canyon. And
Like
keep
a wall,
following this one down to the right. Yep.
I can feel the urge to stick my tongue out of the corner of my mouth as I do this, which I don't think would be a very good look.
Maybe not, but it's proven to increase speed and performance. All right, so here you're coming to the end of this one, and you're going to come left again, and again start angling pretty much straight for Psy. Take a slightly long turn to get there. And now basically we're going to be headed in a straight line for quite a while. When you see an obstacle that you really don't like the look of, you probably want to deviate around it slightly to the right.
Right, so more edging on the right-hand side.
Yep.
Which I can see why, given the terrain on the left-hand side of me. Versus the terrain on the right-hand side of me. This all of a sudden feels a lot more serious than it did earlier. And also thanks to Silas, I've now got the Bee Gees Staying Alive playing on loop in my head.
Nothing wrong with that.
Well, except for the fact that I'm just literally going over the first lines of it over and over and over again.
Oh, that could be a bit of a.
Right, we've got within 80 kilometers of Silo.
Yeah, and that first 10K is the worst of this route. You're now going to be pretty much smooth sailing until we get to the death field that is the last 10K around Eager Flats.
Yeah, I vaguely remember that from the trucks last year. Myth says it beats Bat Out of Hell, but then instantly I've just switched over to Bat Out of Hell. So what we are learning is that you can pretty much put any song in my head you want right now. So
All right. When you take these long jumps, what I want you to try and get in the habit of is, as you come into land, I want you to kick the nose up and pop the boost.
right. To just soften your landing by getting your engine at the back.
It's
Give me a
that.
bit
It's
of
also
lift.
preparation for you having about a quarter the number of frames you have right now.
Okay.
Because
that is something I decidedly remember from last year's.
Yeah, under racing conditions, when it's this tight at the beginning, you're going to be dropping frames like nobody's business, and so we want to just maximize safety on every landing.
Highway to Hell, Biker Joe. That is a good recommendation. As is was the one I wanted to do at some point do a circumnavigation on dragonflies around some sort of planet, like Citizen Kate did. And very much the track which I would have there is Bon Jovi, Dead or Alive, like that. That's a proper hover biking song in my book. Particularly on a dragonfly, just feels right on a dragonfly. More of a pack mule than the Nox.
I really am looking forward to the Ranger coming out.
I like this territory. This is good. A
Ooh,
a lesser spotted, low flying reclaimer.
Yeah, this is my preferred route for a reason, and it's the fact that you get to actually just drive in a straight line for the longest possible amount of time.
This is nice. After the beginning.
The other tip I will give you is if you pop into third person and hold F4 and page up to push your camera all the way up, you'll be able to see a good distance in front of you. And that'll give you a better overview of upcoming rocks and ridges.
That is like a lot nicer there. There we go. See, we just had to get the head of racing on to give us some actual proper racing advice as part of this racing stream.
All right, your rock field is right here where I'm at.
Nope. I know what I did wrong there. I went to hit the boost like you said, and instead I hit control and lowered my ride height.
Yeah, and ideally what we want to do is we want to never be landing on an uphill. We want to always be coming down on a downhill or on a flat.
Right.
That's not always possible, but it's doable. You did make it. I'm right over where you were. You made it to 67 from Psy.
Can I get another party invite while you're not alive, please?
I'm not alive. That would be a bit difficult. I am alive, so of course you can.
I mean, not racing, basically, is what I meant.
Right, let's see. Now let's see if we can remember. Oh, Avenger 1 has raided us with a massive party.
Oh,
hello
nice.
And welcome. I'm glad hopefully you just arrived just a little bit before I definitely didn't explode while doing this Daymar Rally practice. What I'm getting a little bit confused at is my tendency to die even with a helmet on in the elevator of the 890 jump. But yeah, welcome to the stream, everybody from Avenger 1 stream. We are currently taking some high-level race instruction from Frontier's head of racing Tint, because with about 5 days left to practice, we are entering the Daymar Rally on hover bikes, and like I said earlier in the stream, I think anybody who does more than one practice is just basically cheating. So
You say by high level you mean go slow and don't die?
yeah, literally a high level. I mean, and we're gonna definitely try to not do that thing I did where Tint gave me some very good advice there that I needed to nose up and boost when I was landing in my knocks. But instead what I did was I nosed up and I reduced the ride height, which apparently has quite the opposite effect. So yeah, it's no pressure at this point. Is the there we go. I've got somebody who can actually answer these questions on the call. So is the X1 particularly viable for racing, Tint?
No.
No. What drives?
dangly
That was
bit
a
on the bottom-
definitive answer.
Yeah, the dangly bit on the bottom likes to catch the ground and explode.
Ah, right. So I could blame that for me sucking. That's what I'm hearing.
Sounds like a good idea to me.
Well done, Tatsu. Got your reclaimer paid for. Ready for when those weevil eggs aren't quite so plentiful. Right, so now what we need to see is, can I remember the first part of our instructional video? If I start back from the pad. Did I get you that party invite, Slow?
I don't think so.
Okay.
It didn't pop up for me.
Let me do that before I start sucking again.
I mean, trying to do this without party markers is an interesting experience, but luckily I found Tint's ship quite early on.
It's hard to miss.
Mm. Yeah, I think I had like a good 12 kilometers on you, so...
Yeah, if anybody is keen to get some proper racing instruction from the likes of Tint, then please do feel free to pop into the Frontier Discord. We have a very good race team, of which I am only an honorary member, I can assure you. I am in no way representative of our race team. Our race team's actually good. So I will pop a quick link in the Twitch chat. I can remember how to get... Hopefully up. But it's basically just discord.gg frcn/frcn. Right, so let's see. So Siler is my marker for Eager Flats, which is our first stop on this race. How many kilometers is the race in total, Tint? Remind me of this.
510.
How many?
510.
510. How many have we so far covered, Mako, with 3 attempts?
I think I did about 72.
Right, so you nudge that number up for us. But
Yeah.
probably our total so far is just clipped over about 120, 130.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I will say that the Dragonfly is the more survivable pick, in that you're gonna be able to blow off one of the nacelles and go, okay, time to replace this bike, and grab a spare out of your C2.
Whereas
rather than trying to keep going.
That is a good point, and probably what we will be going for.
Yeah. So
Right.
my assumption with that and the quads was basically the same then.
So we're going to set our ride height at max, and we're pulling round to the right at the start of the race, right?
Yep.
Did I go right enough? That's the next question.
Yep, you're on it. Yes,
And
stay on this.
Those hills over there, that set of 4 hills over on the left-hand side, it's the 2 on the very left of that, which are the gap I'm going for once I get round these valleys, right?
Yep, and yeah, staying right a little bit longer will serve you quite well.
Right.
So don't be in a rush to push straight for them.
Okay. So my first instinct was wrong. Go straight at the person.
So yeah, for example, right now, if you stay to your right and just stay in the bottom of that ravine, you're gonna have a much easier time than if you just bounce straight there.
So it is now 9:30, and I've got to disappear to go do something else.
That is okay. I am also gonna probably, when this run ends, I'm probably gonna be wrapping up. But that is the point where I can get on top of this bit. Then I drop into another ravine, if I'm not mistaken. No, I've just lost myself, haven't I?
There's just a hill between you and where you're going.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks for having me on the stream. It's been good fun.
Whereas, thanks very much, Sly. We're clearly prepared. At least we won't have to lie to Tint when we say we've done practice. Because he was here and he witnessed it.
True.
Yeah.
A bit.
Right, so now we're at these.
And stay on your line.
We're at these ravines, so we go follow these ravines, aren't we?
Yep.
Get used to steering around some of these with the boost, but not just holding boost the whole time. Imagine that's pretty useless.
Yeah, once you're up
We've
to
got
speed,
Avengers in here, so they know all about that combat boosting. I'm pretty sure.
Right, and you've got quite a lot of minables in front of you, so
yeah, which are death rocks. All right, I start drifting left here, or
not quite.
Stick on this line.
Yep, just stay in the flat bits here.
Avoid, keep pinging out those pings to mark any minables, because they are insta kills. Right, and I follow this ravine down to the right-hand side of it. This was the second one, right? I think I'm getting a slight feel for that nose-up boost. And I'm very carefully making sure I've not got my hand onto control. So...
Yeah, if you didn't have to worry about getting the bike back into a support ship, we could just tell you to unbind. Reduce altitude.
yeah, that is good. Right, still feel I'm not quite far enough to start.
You're not on quite the same line as you were before, but you're actually almost there.
That's what we have tractor beams for now, right, Tim?
Hmm?
We have tractor beams now for.
That was a question I was going to ask you, actually. What are the Daymar Rally rules surrounding the use of tractor beams?
You can't use them to make yourself go faster. And you can't use them on other teams. That's pretty much it.
Can't use them to make yourself faster. Can't use them to make other people slower.
Yep. But yeah, if you want to use them to load and unload spares, and it's probably safer to do it that way.
Right.
More than allowed.
Noted.
Yep. So yeah, you're now in the flats.
The point where I can start
straight for Sky.
Doing my left, and there we go. We've got Siler as our marker. But we're trying not to land on uphill bits. That's the golden rule, right?
Yep. Because yeah, and that becomes deadlier the lower the server frame rate is.
Right, yeah, because the little bit of desync, and then you'll end up just nosing straight into the ground.
That's it.
Okay. And I take it now, if you were a more skilled pilot than me, I mean, I'm being fairly conservative with my my flying, I think. If you were more skilled, this is the sort of terrain where you would be dropping the ride height right, picking up a bit more speed.
Here and there, although in general, I think you'll find a lot of people are staying pretty close to maximum for most of the race, just to make sure that they get there. There are some sections, mostly further in, that are way lower count on these large rocks. You probably want to drift right or left to miss this crater.
Okay. Yeah, that is a. I remember
Yeah.
those from there is a spot much further in, if I remember rightly, that is basically crater field.
Yep. But yeah, there are some spots, particularly around the middle of the run, where there are a lot fewer of the rocks scattered in the terrain, and so those are, I think, where a lot of the fastest teams will be really opening it up. But
Mm-hmm.
overall, I think, especially for the first leg, most people will just be playing to make sure that they get to the second.
Mm-hmm. Biker Joe's asking, which is harder, ship racing or ground racing?
I think I mean, harder is relative. In terms of just like getting into it, picking it up, and going, I would say ship racing. But in terms of getting like absolutely top competitive times, I would put them neck and neck.
Yeah. I would say I personally, particularly with the racing missions, I found ship racing once once it was clearer for me where I was going, if that makes sense. I found ship racing like really intuitive. Like the flight model in Star Citizen is quite satisfying for racing. And once you get a few of the basics down, you can make that jump, if you know what I mean, between being shit, frankly, and a complete noob, and getting to the point where you feel like you've made some real progress is actually quite quick. It's like it can be a bit disheartening in the beginning when you're just blowing up every time, but then you start making some turns, and it's it's sort of really it's got that satisfying little bump where if you just put a few hours in, you can instantly sort of feel yourself getting a lot better.
Yeah, and that lines up with what typically when we do coaching sessions for people who are like completely new to racing, what we'll see is that after about 30 minutes, their times tend to be hitting, depending on the track, of course, 10, 20 seconds off of what we would consider to be like a full race pace.
Mm-hmm.
And about an hour after that, they're able to consistently hit racing pace.
Yeah, try and avoid these craters, right?
Yep.
So Fred, we've got Sylar is very kindly marking the course for us, marking the way to Eager Flats. There she is.
And I am actually over your head as a support ship
And
as well.
Tint is also telling me
cause...
when I'm wildly diverging off course.
Yeah. So this big set of hills up here, you do want to probably swing right around.
Oh, that's good, Silas. YouTube chat is now pushing to the stream chat. The worrying thing is, I did absolutely nothing to make that happen, so I can't replicate it in the future, which is very useful. Let me look. 60 kilometers. I've got a very red nose, I think, after some sort of little clip, and that's exactly what you're talking about with the dragonfly, right? It would be more likely that you'd bump a couple of those nacelles off, and then you can just take the option to play it safe, get your support ship to land, get you a new bike. I think that's probably what we'll go for on the day. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the max speed at top, the top speed at top ride height between the Nox and the Dragonfly isn't all that different, is it?
Yeah, they're quite similar.
It's like the Nox is a couple of meters per second quicker, but it's only once they're both down at the minimum ride height that they're really right. That is exactly the sort of thing which had me blown up earlier in this race. So it's a good sign. Your training is paying off here. Right, what ship would you recommend for the novice racer? Not try and become a racer specifically, but more. And I think, Joe, I think that is actually a really good reason to give racing a go. It's the same reason to give combat a go as well, even if it's not necessarily your thing. Like, these things will make you a better pilot. So I personally, as someone who is a bit more of a novice racer, I like the Razor. I particularly like it as well since I think some of the snubs like the P52 can be a bit more meta for certain tracks, but I do like that the Razor has a QT drive of its own. So if you just need to get back to one of the tracks after you've stacked it, I found that a bit more forgiving rather than having to get out a an 890. And I do have to say, Tim, I don't know if you'd agree, one of the things I think they should really do around the racetracks is they should put clinics there. Should put clinics and Platinum Bay.
Yeah, I think the whole racing community has been asking for that since we got racing in the game as like an official thing. It's just been like, yeah, please put a Platinum Bay at the track.
Yeah, and
a little med clinic.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be
Doesn't
anything
have
fancy,
to be anything fancy.
Just a few rooms, and like it could be a smaller version of the things that we get at the space stations. But that would really make it a lot more accessible.
Yep.
One of the other things we've got the Crux Cup coming up, which is a race around the Ahumani ring. I'm always going to butcher the pronunciation of that. Which is at Horizon. It's a really cool sort of long distance endurance track, which you weave between the different platforms at Horizon. And Big Rock. They have I did it last year, and I'll be doing it again this year. They do a race which is just Auroras, and everybody in that class is in the Aurora. And I genuinely think that's a really cool way to get into racing. Like it's not a race ship, but because it's a sort of very basic starter ship, it forces you to learn to fly it to its potential.
Yeah, and on that sort of topic, I do like the Razor is, I think, the most commonly recommended starter racer because it's super forgiving, but it is capable of very like near meta times, so you can get kind of the full range of experience in it. But one of the things I wind up recommending a lot to people is the Aurora specifically because it's got a fantastic flight model. It feels really nice to fly, but it's not forcing you to think at 400 meters a second.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. But it still matters a lot. Like, whether you make like I sort of felt it doing that endurance and doing some of the training for it. You could really feel the difference between making a good turn versus a bad turn, even though the speed difference between the two wasn't as pronounced. It was sort of still a meaningful percentage speed difference.
Yep, that's exactly it. All right, here you're going to want to probably keep to that little path slightly to your right to avoid as many of these rocks as you can. And then we should be mostly clear of this field. Yep.
Yeah, it smooths out a lot.
And so if you can see me pushing out in front of you, you want to head for this gap between these two hills up ahead. That's our next sort of target point.
I'm gonna have to screenshot some of this so I can. Nafty says the Argo Cargo is the new meta. One of the most fun races that I did was one that Tint put on, and it was Argo MPUVs round a specific track for them. That was just hilarious.
That was the Kaplan Freight Yard one? Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah. It's a good one. Do you have to have sticks to be able to race with any degree of competitiveness? I know that there are some incredibly good racers who use mouse and keyboard.
Yeah, there are two world record pace racers right now on the leaderboards, Dekudez and Ordito, who are both mouse and keyboard. You can absolutely do it. It's just a matter of putting in the time with it.
But Fed says no. Stick superiority.
I mean, it's more fun, honestly, and it's a case of like, I can't imagine sinking the kind of time that those guys have sunk into mouse and keyboard flying and not spending the money for sticks, but clearly they see it differently.
I feel like this might be one of my best
more
runs.
than halfway there.
More than halfway to the first checkpoint of the Daymar Rally.
Hey, you know, we take the wins.
Hey, look, this is the thing. In the space of one stream, which is currently just ticking over the 2-hour mark, admittedly, with a little bit of professional instruction, I can already feel that I have made notable improvements. So, and I think that's the thing, because, like, you know, I'm not gonna win the Daymar Rally because, contrary to what I might otherwise claim, practicing more than once before the race is not in fact cheating and is actually highly encouraged. And there will be other people out there who are incredibly, you know, they are practicing hardcore for this and they are ready. But I think the key thing is, like, doing racing, you can just be in competition with yourself. Like, you know, it's one of the best things for that, to be fair. Like, you know, you set yourself a goal of a certain time or to try and complete something like this. And yeah, so for me, you know, finishing would be enough, like it was last year. It did get very sweaty towards the end when I wasn't quite sure we were going to make it, but I think Driz and myself had practically a virtual hug at the end. I think we were amongst the last of the people who made it to the end, because we got the fireworks show just after we turned up. I think one other truck came in after us.
and yes, Tatsukishi, there are some good gamepad racers too. Noise, until very recently, was racing on gamepads, and I use mine for ground racing. I don't use my sticks for that. I just use an Xbox controller.
Yeah, there's some mapping shenanigans you have to do with the gamepad, but it'll work.
All right, we're getting into some,
yeah, exactly.
some
How
big
bad?
rolling hills. So do brake a little as you're getting to the top of these, just to keep your jumps small.
Right. Okay. Good to know. Yeah. See, Hagbard, I've got a long-standing theory that happiness is expectations minus reality. So I purposely, for things like this, keep my expectations as low as physically possible. And then I am never disappointed by the outcome. Right, so as much as it looks really cool, you don't want to be doing those giant jumps, do you?
It's a case of, if you know the terrain and you know you have flat sections to land in, go for the really big, long, sweeping jumps. You don't want to do the super high peaked ones where you've jumped off of like a 30-degree ramp and you're 1,000 meters in the air, because that's always going to end poorly. But if you got these lower hills and you know you've got clean space on the far side of them, then you can lower the height, run up them, bounce the height back up at the last possible second. But we're getting into some like fairly advanced.
I think we're
territory.
I think we've gone from lesson 1 to lesson 5, skipping out 2, 3, and 4. That's what that feels like.
Pretty much. So yeah, just keeping the jumps
I'll
to a
stick to
minimum.
keeping the jumps small.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, and here you probably want to deviate just a tiny bit left. We're gonna want to miss the worst of these ravines and rock fields. Yeah, that angle is fine.
Yeah, stay away from me.
Stay away from noise maze in the giant reclaimer. Noted.
There you go. You're back on a clean line now to head for Psy.
See, now that I've got within 25 kilometers of Sila, though, I've sort of felt the pressure. The pressure has built again. I've got a very red Nox, but I would be extremely happy if we could end this, having made it to Eager Flats once. But I feel like I've just cursed myself by admitting it.
Noise, could you go find the edge of the seam? and
I
mark
was
it for us?
just, yeah. Are we looking for the invisible spawn?
Yeah, we're looking for the pop-in zone.
Yeah, let me see if I can find it.
Because yeah, so what we are headed for right now is a seam in the planetary scatter, and so somewhere between 10 and 15 clicks out from Psy, you're gonna see a lot of rocks very suddenly appear,
Right.
and they will be real, and you will hit them if you're not ready for it. So
It's
just
good to
keep it
know.
nice and slow. Stay for flat ground as much as you can, so that you have thruster authority when things pop in, and Noise is heading to mark the edge of the pop-in zone for you.
I'm well within the heavily populated field. I haven't seen the pop-ins yet.
Yeah, I remember the Devil Rock field near Kudra from the trucks. That's just giving me the reminder of where that really awful one is.
It's the canyons that are the 30 minutes before the finish that will give me nightmares forever. Those
Oh, well, 30 minutes before the
500
finish.
meter
30
deep.
minutes. I call that an hour before the finish.
Well, I
then.
was in Cyclones last year, so
Alright.
we were rocket jumping off the edge of those canyons at 200 miles an hour.
Found the seam.
All right. So you got about 5K until you get to the seam. So just take it easy until then.
Just waiting for that explosion. Right, things are definitely feeling a lot more rocky.
Yep, and this is kind of the section of the track where there is no getting away from it. So just take your time, pick your way through the rock field.
No secret loop-de-loop of flat.
Tragically, there are cleaner lines into and out of this, but they are very narrow, they're very specific, and even then, you're mostly flying them by ear.
Oh, hiya, Skelly. How you doing, mate? I'm glad you missed the bit where I nearly did my Scottish accent.
And I am lined up on the seam too, so if you get in front of me or behind me, that's where it is.
They get a lot more rocky at your point. Good to know, because this is...
more that all the rocks will move.
Yeah, the ones behind you will pop out, and the ones ahead of you will pop in.
Right. Oh, fuck. Right, I feel that was our last freebie. A bit of a side swipe of a rock. Alright, we've got 11 kilometers to go. Taking a jump far larger than I intended.
That will happen in here. You're right on the seam, so expect the pop in.
Yeah, the area in front of me is looking nice and clear. There we go. Well, I'm glad I had some warning on that. Like, that would have probably been very much a death. Oh, thank you very much for the sub, Skelly. Much appreciated, my man. Sorry, I would be paying way more attention to that sort of thing, but we've hit the point of this run where the pressure's really on.
You got a little bit of a run here, deviate very slightly right, and then back left towards Psy of relatively clean ground. And this is actually a pretty good time to be back in that third-person view. So you can get a wider view on where the gaps are.
This is one of the things which makes this race so cool, right? Like the actual mixture of terrain that you get in these moons, like it's not just one homogeneous mass.
And a note for Scylla, if you turn on your headlights, you can see those from like 15k away, even if he's in third person.
Right, hang on.
Well, I think
Give me
might
some
have just
bullets
turned
to
them.
follow.
Might have just turned them off. I think I.
Back
There
on.
you go. They're back on. So you just naturally knew the right thing to do there, Scylla. You are currently a guiding star.
Very nice.
The pressure to make sure you hit a rock and we all get to see a pretty explosion. There we go. That's you know, there's winners regardless of how this turns out. Right. One of the things we have to also make sure we're doing when we're actually on the day is reporting distances as well, right? That was...
Yeah, once every 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And there's a whole system for that in the Discord. Noise knows how it works now.
I vaguely remember it from last year. Although it was...
They have changed it. It's now being done by a bot.
Ah, right.
If the bot works, there's a bot now.
So we had... last year, we had myself, Drizzle, and Mr. K. And unfortunately for Mr. K, he never actually managed to get in. He got kicked out at the exact moment that the launch happened and couldn't get back into the server. But he stuck it out through the entire, 9 hours, whatever it was, just to do all of our reporting. It was amazing.
A very similar situation last year where Prof and Shrike were in the support ship over my head and got hit by an A2 bomb. All right, your time ends when you get through the second door.
Oh, God, I celebrated too early. Right, and make sure you come back down to low height, right, before getting off one of these bikes, because...
If you want to be able to get back on it,
Yeah, because I got off at a higher height and it then turned into a yo-yo. Right, and I am through the second door.
Huzzah!
How did I do?
Successfully gone from Schubendiger. I wasn't timing you. You'll have to go back and check your VOD to see how long it took.
Too long, I would imagine, is probably the answer.
It's not going to be competitive pace, but you made it, and that's the important part.
That's it.
Because
we
there
survived.
will be plenty of teams that are in it for the win and blow all 4 of themselves up in the first 15 minutes. I guarantee it.
Yeah, that's one of the things. So the nerves do get to you.
Speaking of Go Fast Hoverbike legends, Echo has arrived.
Ah, hey Echo, how you doing? You just missed it. I did a quick run of the whole Daymar Rally track, and yeah, I think it's probably a world record time, but I'll keep it to myself. It's alright. There's definitely not a VOD of this. So yeah, but we did successfully make it to Eager Flats. We just need to remember that whole bit at the front. I might have to go back and study this VOD. Thankfully, thankfully it'll be recorded forevermore. So I've got no excuse. I can come back to it. And I get 1 gold star from Echo. So, he was subscribed. Thank you very much. World record time for sure. Absolutely nifty.
Do you want the shortcut back and the fireworks now loud?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Alright, cool.
You gonna drop a bomb on me?
Yep.
There we go.
Let's see how that goes.
Oh, thank you very much, Wookstry. Sorry. We gotta celebrate. by getting a bomb dropped on us by Siler to bring the stream to an end. But yeah, thank you very much to Siler for providing us with a marker the whole day. That was awesome. There we go. There's some fireworks for you, since I didn't oblige by blowing up my rock. But also, yeah, thanks to Sly for coming with us earlier before he had to hop off, and to Tint and Noise for the fantastic professional instruction. Like I said, if anybody is keen to get into racing and would like to benefit from the skills these guys have, then please do drop into the Frontier Consolidated Discord, discord.gg/FRCN. You're not there already. I'm not going to press these grievous bodily harm charges against Siler, or my destruction, or the destruction of vehicle ones. And yeah, we offer racing for all levels of experience and ability. But yeah, I will try, though, to do this correctly. Take a look and see if I can work out how the raid thing works, so that we can send you all on somewhere else. So I think around about this time, I think we usually have Space Tomato streaming, don't we? Remember rightly? Let's take a quick look and see if he's on. But yeah, thank you everybody for stopping in, particularly for all the people from Daddy Yum Yum stream and from Avenger 1 stream who popped in and said hello. Let's go. Oh, wait, is Master Ben? Master Ben's live.
Ben is on, yeah.
He's doing some Armor 3. Let's right. Where's the raid button? This is going to be the embarrassing moment where we're left. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pop up the end screen and I'm going to consult some people who know better than me, but then I'm going to be sending everybody who's still here on Twitch onto Master Ben to go say hello to him as soon as I can work out how to do a raid. So thank you all very much, and I will catch you all soon.